Oof. Yeah, this is rough. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you. This is what you listen, you asked for it. I'm going to be honest. Am I the asshole? I'm going to push back on you a little bit here and say, what is the joke?
Dude, where are you? Pick up your phone. I'm going to a summer party tonight, and you're obviously invited, so call me back. Okay, love you. Bye.
What's up, you guys, and welcome back to Emotionally Online, the show for spilling guts and sharing secrets, hosted by yours truly, the one and only Maddie Drosbeck, and co-hosted by the world-renowned, loved by everyone, hated by no one, Mango the Gooey Girl. She's so funny. She's like pulling at my shirt right now. Her nails are for sure digging into my chest, but that's okay. She's totally allowed to do that. This is her house. I'm her mama. Oh my God, look at her. She's so friggin' cute. And we're going to the vet tomorrow. Yeah. Oh, who said that? We are. We're going to the vet tomorrow. Preparing you now, Mango, because you're 4 years old. You're 4. Do you know that? You're about to turn 4. So we got to go get your vaccines updated. It's a part of life, Mama. I cannot help you. But here she is, cute as ever, needing to be held at the exact moment that I go to record, as always. Guys, we have huge monumental bisexual news this week. I mean, we've had a monumental win for the bisexuals. It might sustain us for the whole year. I'm so thrilled with the win that we have collected in the last week, and that win, of course, is Challengers, which I saw the first day it came out. I have been waiting for Challengers to come out for months. I feel like I first saw the trailer for Challengers, I want to say in like November or December. It was literally last year. I have been dying to see this fucking movie. So I was literally, I mean, you know me with the Alamo Drafthouse. I live there. I pay rent at the Alamo Drafthouse. I'm literally there multiple days of the week. Listen, I'm first to know about any and everything going on at the Alamo Drafthouse. So I refresh my phone on the Alamo Drafthouse app several times a day to see when they add new show times, when new movies get added to the schedule. So I am on top of it. So I have been checking, knowing that it was coming like end of April. I have been checking constantly throughout the month to see when they were going to drop the times, because they'll usually drop them in advance and then you can buy the tickets in advance. So whatever. They came out like a week and a half in advance. Me and all my friends bought tickets to go see it the opening night. And can I just say, I will be back in that theater to watch Challengers several more times. I'm thinking of going this weekend again, perhaps, because I need to watch it again. I need to indulge again, which is saying a lot because there are few movies that I want to rewatch immediately after watching it. Saltburn and Theater Camp were the only 2 movies I saw last year that I was like, and I need to watch it again right now. And I could watch it again right now, and I would feel so excited to do that. Challengers, I had the same reaction to it, where I left the theater and I was like, oh, well, I actually need to watch it again right this very fucking second. I actually need to do that all over again right fucking now. So I'm not going to do any spoilers, okay? The movie's fresh out, so we're not going to dive into it. Maybe in a few months we'll dive into it, okay? I'll spare all of you the details. But what I will say is that it is terrific. Zendaya is a fucking beast, and we don't deserve her. Luca Guadagnino also should have considered doing a partnership with Dipsy or Blessa to, like, you know, create a playlist of post-Challengers content to consume, because I damn near ran out of that theater and I was fucking boosting home, okay? I had to be out of the public eye immediately. It was like Challengers finished up and I was like, none of us can make eye contact, actually. I can't look any of you in the eye. I need to go home. I actually should already be home right now. Oh my God. Guys, if I was in a relationship, I would have been fucking after that movie. I'll be honest. If it wasn't just me, myself, and I, there would have been things to talk about that night, okay? Woo-wee. It is very sexy. It is very sensual. It is very erotic. Suddenly I'm interested in tennis. I know. Who'd have thunk? If anyone could do it, it's Zendaya. And also, I've never heard of Josh O'Connor until recently because I saw Challengers, and then like 2 weeks before I saw La Chimera, which he is also in. He's like the lead in. I think this is maybe the first film I ever saw him in? Question mark? Maybe. I don't know. Don't remember him though. In anything else if I have seen other movies he's been in. But La Chimera was a 5-star completely to me. 5 out of 5. Perfect movie. Challengers was also 5 out of 5 stars for me. Also a perfect movie. And so now I've got my eye on him. I'm like, 2 perfect scores back to back, Mr. Josh O'Connor. I've never even fucking heard of you. And suddenly I'm clued in, mama. Maybe I should have known about him. Maybe I'm late and I'm learning, and I've learned so much in the last month about Josh O'Connor, and I'm in, and I'm rooting for you. And I hope that the next movie of yours I watch is also 5-star. I hope that you can just keep it up and that I can only give you 5 stars. I hope that this is, I hope that you have great reviews specifically from @MaddieDropsback on Letterboxd. Could be huge. People aren't talking about this, but to get only 5-star ratings from this critic, kind of monumental. Not that I'm really like a harsh critic, but I'm not a light critic either. I think I have a range. I disperse my ratings accurately, and I'm not overly nice in my ratings. Okay? I go in and I'm meticulous about it, and I give the people what they deserve to be given. And that's that. And Challengers was a fucking 5 out of 5 stars. And I need to go back and watch it again because I think that the first time is like you're taking it all in. First watch, just absorbing it all. The initial like, oh my God, I'm horny reaction. It's horny o'clock. We've entered horny hours. That's watch 1. Watch 2 is like, oh, I know it's horny hours. It's planned horny hours. They've been scheduled in, okay, set aside, and we're excited and we're like ramped up for the horny hours. And then the third watch is when we settle into like a horny homeostasis. It's when we settle in to our horny just baseline that we're going to sit at, and then we can really indulge in like the deeper meanings of the movie and which character we're really rooting for. That's when we can really start forming our opinions. And I think Zendaya said exactly that. Maybe not exactly, but I think Zendaya said that she thinks people should watch the movie at least 3 times. And I agree. And I actually, I didn't need to hear her reasoning for that. She could have just said that and it would have been like, yeah, and she's right. Yeah, and she's right. And I actually didn't even need to see the movie to know that she was right. I fucking love Zendaya. She's so sexy. Anyways, the bisexuals won. We won hugely. Hugely and monumentally we won this week. Okay? So go see Challengers. Simmer on it. Let it sit inside your brain. And then we'll loop back around to this in like a month when I can't be yelled at for spoiling things. Okay? Sounds good. Speaking of the Alamo Drafthouse, I had a huge reflection within an Alamo Drafthouse mid-movie the other night. Okay? I went to go see Abigail, which was okay. It was just fine. It was it's a horror movie, but it's very goofy. It's like I don't know. I'm not really a huge fan of goofy horror movies. I'm like enjoying myself during it, but I feel like if a horror movie is making me laugh, I'm always laughing at it and not with it. And unfortunately, Abigail, I was laughing at you and not with you for a lot of the things that I was laughing at in that movie, but that's okay. I still enjoyed myself. I think I gave it 3 stars. Don't ask about my rating scale for movies, okay? Because it changes completely. But in my head, it's like 5 stars, perfect movie. 4.5 stars is like, it's damn near perfect. Me just explaining what is like totally understandable. 4.5 stars, it's like really close to perfect. It's like just a few things that I would have tweaked and changed, but like it's pretty fucking fantastic. I love this movie. But I think what is, the higher ratings, it's more about like the level of criticism. When we get down to like the lower ratings, I think those are the interesting ones to me. Like 3.5 through 5. Those are all highly rated movies. You enjoyed watching those movies. A 3 is even a solid rating. But to me, a 3, since that's more towards the middle of the road, I'm like, I enjoyed the experience of watching this movie, but I've got like a considerable amount of things that I was like unimpressed by or would change or whatever. My overall experience of watching the movie. When I go down to like 2 and 2.5, that's when I have like a lot of opinions, but I still enjoyed my experience of watching a movie. Anything below a 2, I did not like that fucking movie. At all. If I gave it a 2, it's possible that I'm like, I hated everything about this movie. However, I'm giving it some points for like costuming and makeup and things like that. Like, for example, Back to Black, which is the Amy Winehouse movie that's coming out end of May. I saw it. I went to an early screening of it, and I gave that movie a 2. So, I won't say anything about that, but I will say that if you want to read my Letterboxd review about it, you can go read that. But that was a movie that I didn't like it. I have a lot of criticisms for it, but I still enjoyed my experience of watching the movie. It was pretty to look at, and I think I was generally entertained throughout it, even though a lot of my entertainment came from like rage as an Amy Winehouse fan and how they chose to execute the whole thing. But it's still like I had a fun time being a hater, and if I enjoyed my experience of being a hater, it's like minimum of a 2 for me. If I hated it and I did not enjoy my experience of being a hater, that's when we hit like the 1 star, 1.5 star territory. The movies that simply piss me off beyond compare. I can find nothing redeemable about these movies, and I'm getting mad thinking about it. I watched one movie this year that I actually can't even talk about on this podcast because it made me so mad. And every time I talk about it, I get so fired up. And this movie has pretty good ratings, which is confusing to me because it is... I actually cannot even get into it. If you want to go through my Letterboxd ratings, you'll figure out which movie it was. I watched it in March, I think, and I gave it a 1. And it's terrible. It's terrible. And I cannot understand how anyone likes this movie. And it makes me so mad. And I could actually and have actually gone on rampages about this movie. And the thing is that it's not even necessarily the execution of the movie. It is like the casting choices and how totally fucking careless they were in like set safety precautions for the actors. Okay. So I don't care how pretty the movie is. I don't even care what the message you're trying to send is, because I disagreed with that too. But I can like disagree with the like point of a movie or some of the choices they made and still give it like a decent rating. This movie, I disagreed with all of it, and I thought that it was unethical in its production. So anyways, I'm not even going to shout this movie out because that's how much I hated it, and it's not worth it, and I don't think anybody should watch it. And if you do decide to watch it, major trigger warning for sexual assault. Major. I do not believe that you can cast children in movies about subjects like that and have them participate in graphic, violent scenes about things like that ethically. I do not believe you can. You cannot cast a 12, 13-year-old in a role like that. You're fucking insane for that. So yeah, your movie gets tanked, in my opinion. I don't care that it's pretty. I don't care that it's art house. I don't give a fuck. We don't do that. What the fuck? Anyways, I got off on a tangent, but that's how my Letterboxd ratings work, where it's like the lower ratings are more meticulous. The higher ratings are like, I enjoyed it, but there's like things that I'm not all in about. Abigail was like, I enjoyed my experience of watching it. It's not a great horror movie by any means. It's very much a mid horror movie. It wasn't terrible in that it was entertaining and some parts of it were scary, but I don't love like a goofy horror movie. I'm always just sort of like, okay, I'm not laughing with you. Like I'm fully giggling at what you're doing right now because it's just so goofy and corny and whatever. So Abigail was kind of that. But anyways, back on track here. During this movie, of course, I'm at the Alamo Drafthouse where they serve a, full 6-course meal at the Alamo Drafthouse, where they have a full kitchen. If you don't know, if you don't have an Alamo Drafthouse near you, part of why I love the Alamo Drafthouse is because they have like a full restaurant and you order directly from your seat. You just write it on a piece of paper and then you press a button and a light pops up and then somebody comes and like takes your paper and then brings you back your food. So anyways, lots of food options at the Alamo Drafthouse. Guy next to me orders like a burger and has like a tub of ketchup. Halfway through the movie, he somehow flings his ketchup all over my leg, and it's not on him at all. Somehow, and it's like, if you have been inside the Alamo Lower Manhattan Theater, it's like the table's jutting out on like the right side of the chair and coming over your lap. I was on his right side. So he dropped it onto his lap, but then the cup flipped and went outwards. So it went like underneath the table all the way to the other side and on my leg, missing him completely. It really was a feat that he managed to do this. I noticed right when it happened, and it was all over my ankle and my shoe and like up just the whole bottom part of my leg, ankle, shoe. And I noticed when it happened, but then I felt bad, like moving my leg to clean myself off. I didn't want to make him feel bad for flinging ketchup all over me in the middle of the movie, because I'm like, accidents happen. I don't need someone to feel bad about it. And I feel like if I am scrunching my leg up on this recliner to wipe myself off right now, there's just no way I can do it subtly. He's going to notice that I'm covered in ketchup and that he's the reason why I'm covered in ketchup. And it was just like the idea of making someone else feel bad about that made me want to die. So I just let myself sit there covered in ketchup for an hour. I was just like, well, I can't move because I don't want to make him feel bad. It was completely people pleasing that it was coming over me at that moment. I spent the second half of Abigail reflecting on that. I was like, okay, so you won't clean ketchup off of yourself that was flung onto you. Okay, that's his bad. And you're so worried about someone else feeling bad about spilling ketchup all of you and ruining their movie experience by how panicked they are that you just don't do anything at all. But I think what I fail to remember a lot of times when things like this happen is that most people do not have anxiety just riddled through their brain in the way that I do. So I'm in my head, like, if I was him and I accidentally flung ketchup all over the woman next to me, it would have ruined my day that I did that. I would have felt so bad. I would be up at night. It would like go on my list of embarrassing things that I did that I might never recover from. Like, I can't emphasize to you enough how much I would beat myself up for something like that, which is why I didn't want him to even realize that he did it to me. Anyways, at the end of the movie, he went and like leaned forward and was like, hey, I'm so sorry. I think I got ketchup on you, and gave me napkins. And I was like, don't worry about it. It happens. Who cares? But I'm pretty sure the ketchup is like fucking stuck in my Nikes now. I tried everything to get it out of like the crevices that it leaked into, but I just think that some of those crevices are going to be ketchuped up. So it might be time for a new pair of sneakers. I think maybe that was my sign. Maybe that was my sign. You know, it's been a year. Maybe it's time to refresh those Air Forces. I wear them every day, and, you know, the heel is starting to wear. So now maybe I should just get new shoes instead of walking around with ketchup foot all the time. But I really do wish that I was better at, like, I don't know, having an initial reaction when there's like any type of conflict. I don't know. I am someone who there's conflict like that and I'm running from it because it's like not worth it to me. I don't want to make other people feel bad. I don't want it to be a big deal. I don't want anything to be a big deal ever. Do you know how many times I order something at like a coffee shop and they give me the complete wrong thing and I'm like, thank you so much. There's no world where I would ever be like, you got this wrong. I just wouldn't. I can't do it. I'm just like, okay, I guess I'm eating this today. I guess I was supposed to eat this. Like, usually I order an everything bagel with scallion cream cheese wherever I go. And one time they gave me jalapeno cream cheese instead of scallion cream cheese. And I don't like spicy things. Notoriously, it's not even that I don't like spicy things. It's that I feel like I'm going to die when I have spicy things. I enjoy it. It's fun to me. But I do, like, you know, blink twice and see the Grim Reaper. I can't eat spicy things. I wish I could. I really do. I think about, like, I can't ever become super famous and be asked to go on Hot Ones because I would die. I think I would pass away in Sean Evans' lap, and that's not an exaggeration. I think that there would be lawsuits to be had if I went on Hot Ones, you know? So I just can't ever be, like, super mega famous ever in my life because if I go on Hot Ones, I'm never seeing another day after that. Sometimes when people are like, let's do the Hot Ones challenge on our own, like, let's get the spices, I'm like, no, let's not do that. I'm envious of people that can tolerate spice. I really am, because it is fun to me. I have one fucking hot Cheeto, and I feel like my stomach is gonna, like, be on X Games mode for the next 24 hours. I cannot. The only way I can eat a hot Cheeto or a Taki is if I dip it in cream cheese and, like, numb the taste. And I have to have, like, a full liter of water next to me because it's like if I'm not chugging water while this is happening and I'm, like, panting while I'm doing it, I'm like, it's an exercise to eat a hot Cheeto for me. I'm sorry. This is just genetically what my body does. Okay? Blame it on my father. He has one bite of something spicy and his whole head sweats. He's bald and it's just like sweat coming out of all of his pores, head top to bottom. And I'm like, that's me, guys. That is genetically what I'm made of. So don't give me spicy things. Don't invite me to Hot Ones. Don't give me jalapeno cream cheese on a bagel because I won't correct it and I will sweat through my breakfast. So ketchup foot, sweating through breakfast. There really is so much going on in the house of Maddie these days. Guys, the audience submission box is piling up these days. We've got so much juice coming in and out of there, and I just feel like we should jump right the fuck in and get into it. If you guys would like to submit any and everything into that box, if you have topics, internet drama you'd like me to comment on, am I the asshole, advice, anything and everything. This is your show as much as it is mine. So take to that box and you let me know what you want me to talk about on next week's episode. Am I the asshole? Imagine having a husband that doesn't do karaoke. That'd be so embarrassing. The text that I sent to Heather. Context. Me, Heather, Rebecca, and Heather's husband went out to a karaoke bar. We all performed songs except for Heather's husband. The text was intended to be a lighthearted joke in regards to our outing. However, Heather didn't take this as a joke. Rebecca explained to me that Heather was highly offended that I came off as shady and even cited the Will Smith slap as a reason you should never joke about someone's partner. I told Rebecca that I appreciated her trying to help, but in the future I'd prefer her to not say anything at all. Triangulation does more harm than good, and if Heather isn't ready to tell me herself, then I simply don't need to know. Rebecca responded by saying she understood and normally wouldn't have, but she genuinely didn't know if I was joking or not. Am I the asshole for blocking Heather and Rebecca's number? Even days after trying to clarify that it was a joke, Heather never responded. If someone doesn't have the communication skills to say, hey, this offended me, I'd like an apology, then I don't want a friendship with them. And if Rebecca couldn't tell I was joking, or at least give me the benefit of the doubt after months of friendship, then that's also not a friendship I want to keep. Sharing a sense of humor and feeling safe to joke around is important to me. It still absolutely baffles me that anyone, yet alone two people, would think I was making a serious remark in regards to fucking karaoke. Oof. Yeah, this is rough. And I'm going to be honest with you. This is what you asked for it. I'm going to be honest. Am I the asshole? I'm going to push back on you a little bit here and say, what is the joke? I'm not sure I know what the joke is. I'm not sure if there is a joke here. And even if there is a joke, it doesn't seem like a very nice joke. So I don't think it's crazy that Heather would be offended by this text, to be honest with you. If I received a text from one of my friends just like making fun of my partner for like no reason, I'd be like, so why is that funny? Why is being mean to my partner for like no reason funny? Because they're shy and don't want to do karaoke? Like, what's the joke there? Imagine having a partner that doesn't want to do karaoke. So embarrassing. Like, I guess I don't understand what's funny about that, and it just feels kind of mean for no reason. So I get why Heather would be like, what the fuck? And be kind of offended by that. Now, jokes get made in poor taste all the time. We say things that might rub people the wrong way, and we didn't intend to rub people that way. That's totally fine. It seems like you tried to clarify that it was a joke. I don't know if you apologized for it. I don't know if you didn't really say that. You said you tried to clarify that it was a joke and she never responded. And then you blocked Heather and Rebecca's numbers. Here's the thing though, is I think that yes, we want people to communicate with us when we have like hurt their feelings or done something that was unintentionally mean. However, I do think that when we act out of turn, when we like make an uncomfortable joke that is kind of mean-spirited and it hurts people's feelings, they're allowed to like take their time to process that and figure out how to move forward, even if it makes you uncomfortable not having that forgiveness from them. And I get it is uncomfortable to sit in that in-between space of like, I hurt my friend's feelings, I didn't mean to, and now I just want them to forgive me and they're not even responding to my texts, so I'm just going to block them because they're not communicating with me. But I think that people are allowed processing time, and it looks different for different people. I do agree that eventually a conversation will need to happen, but I don't know that there's like an expected timeline for that. And I think by you blocking them, you're effectively like shutting off the opportunity for that to happen and cutting the timeline short. When honestly, they deserve space to kind of gather themselves, because it is a mean joke that you made. I don't even know what the joke is, to be honest with you. It just seems kind of rude. So I can't say that I would feel a lot differently than your friend, to be brutally honest here. Yes, like mistakes happen. It doesn't make you a bad person because you made a joke that didn't hit, that was kind of rude. But I don't think that your reaction to that should be to be mad at how they are processing and reacting to your mean joke and blocking them. You know, I think that you sort of have to accept that you fucked up a little bit and you made a mean comment and look inwards for why you said something like that, and then be patient in allowing your friend to respond in due time after you've given them like a meaningful apology. 'Cause it is rude. I don't know. I guess I don't understand what the joke is. And yeah, it does seem mean to make a comment like that about someone's partner in a separate group chat that they're not in. It's weird. It is. So I hate to say it, but you might be the asshole here. I hate to do it to you, but it's okay because we're all the asshole sometimes. But you just got to own when you're the asshole and apologize for it. Because I don't think that saying mean things and then being like, it's just a joke, why can nobody take a joke these days, works in anyone's favor. Because what's the joke? Explain the joke to me. If you can't explain what's funny about what you said without sounding mean, then, you know, maybe we shouldn't have said it in the first place. But all we can do is apologize and give them space to like react and then move forward. But you're allowed to give people space to react. They don't have to respond to you right away. So I would consider unblocking them if you're trying to preserve the friendship. So Godspeed to you. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't make comments like that about anybody, partner or not partner. Like if I went out to karaoke with a group of friends and I brought a friend that had never met any of them and anybody texted me afterwards to be like, how embarrassing, they didn't sing a song. I would be like, that's rude. What the fuck? Why are you bullying my friend? That's weird. Why are you being rude for no reason? They're like, oh, don't worry, it's just a joke. I'm like, what's the funny part? So, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I'm not on your side here, but I'm not. So, it's tough and it's uncomfortable, but I think that you would be better served by apologizing genuinely and looking inwards at why you said something like that and why it made you angry to see them hurt by that comment. Because I do feel they're entitled to feel hurt there, because what you said is rude. So, unintentional, perhaps, but we should still take ownership when we're mean. Sorry. Hey, Queen, I have a cute little story about my first ever dating experience, and I would love to hear your thoughts. By the way, it might be a tad long, but I swear it's worth a read. Baby girl, you never have to apologize for writing long submissions. Okay, I'm here to read. I'm here to be an audience member to you. So, just a little background on me. I'm a 19-year-old girl in university, and I'm also 100% a lover girl, hopeless romantic, as I would guess a lot of us listening are. My roomie and I made a silly little bet that we both had to approach a boy we thought was cute within 10 days, or else the other person could choose a random person on the spot that we'd have to approach. With only a few days left until our bet expired, I was getting a little stressed. At the time, I was walking around campus with one of my guy friends, and we were chatting about random stuff, and I brought up the bet that I made with my roomie. Suddenly, I saw a cute boy walking anti-parallel to us, and out of nowhere, he starts walking towards us, and I'm totally confused. But then, he approaches my friend, and they push each other like I guess boys do, and then they say goodbye, and we continue walking. Long story short, my friend offers to set us up, and I ultimately agree after he tells me a little bit about him. Nerdy, goofy, over 6 foot, my age, sounded pretty good to me. So I fulfilled my side of the bet, and I went on my first ever date. It was honestly really great. The boy was such a gentleman, and it was everything I imagined it would be. I felt so many emotions I had never felt before. Our second date was even better. I held hands romantically for the first time. Here's where it goes downhill. Another long story short, the third date was awkward as shit. Essentially, I got some icks from his behavior, and I heard from a friend of a friend that he could be a little immature. We took some time apart to evaluate things, but I ultimately decided that I wanted to give him another chance. We had planned to have another date, but he was being really wishy-washy over text, and I straight up asked him if he was free to call so I could see where his head was at before I committed to seeing him again. Immediately after picking up the phone and we exchange hellos, he asks me what I'm looking for in a relationship. I was a little caught off guard because I wasn't expecting him to say that, and I told him I wanted something long-term. He then says he has something to tell me, and in my mind, I was like, ain't no way he's going to break it off with me first, but he says something totally unexpected. Basically, he told me that he has to leave after this semester to go serve in the Korean military. If you're not aware, all South Korean men have to serve a year and a half in the military. He thought he wouldn't have to because he's lived in America since he was a kid, but he had just learned that he still has to go. And then he told me that this is the reason why he was being awkward on the last date, and that he knows I want something long term, and he's sorry he can't provide that for me. So yeah, I got my first little taste of heartbreak. Unfortunately, it's been 2 months and I still think about him often. Send help. Just to clarify, I'm pretty much over it. It's just that I miss those feelings and I can't stop thinking about the what ifs. The hopeless romantic in me is not allowing him to leave my mind, so I'm curious if you have any advice for me. Love the pod. You seem super sweet. So I'm going to say something that's been helpful for me, and I wonder if it would be helpful for you too, if you're also a hopeless romantic, a lover girl among us. And this is something that I've talked about in therapy with my friends, just has been a topic that I've been noodling on myself. I actually am pretty sure I've just stolen this directly from my therapist. I did not come to this conclusion myself. My therapist planted this in my head, and she did a great job when she did it, okay? Because it was a great point of insight, and I've had many good reflections past this point. But I was talking to my therapist. I believe we had this conversation in February. It was pretty soon after I had experienced my heartbreak that I've talked about in this podcast that I'm still very much going through. But this conversation started at when it was very fresh. And I was talking to her about feeling overwhelmed at what came next. Like when something ends and then you're looking towards the future, you're looking towards the months ahead. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, how long is it going to take me to get over this? How long is my heart going to hurt this way? Like, I felt really overwhelmed at like the journey that lay ahead, basically being like, well, now my job is what? My job is to move on. My job is to stop caring. My job is to like suffocate my feelings and until they don't exist anymore. Like, what am I supposed to do here? The thought of that seems like such a monumental task. And I think that first conversation I had said to my therapist, we like sort of landed on like, we're not going to look so far out in the future. We're going to focus on like the next 3 months. And the next 3 months, you're just going to take it day by day and check in with yourself. And I'll, be in therapy every week to check in with how I feel and just we're processing. And obviously I went no contact. So it's like, I'm just on my own processing, sitting in it day by day. We'll take it 3 months. And then at the end of those 3 months, we will revisit and see where we're at. It has been 3 months now, and I can tell you that I feel pretty much the same and that not a lot has changed in how I feel about all of it. And I had talked to my therapist about this a month ago, because a month ago I was like, I don't feel any different. Like I feel exactly the same, and I'm getting frustrated with myself because I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I wish I felt different, but the truth is that I don't. And my therapist was like, what if you stopped trying to move on? What if you stopped trying to change how you feel and just accepted that this is how you feel? And when she said that, I was like, that makes so much more fucking sense than what I was trying to do. Why didn't I think of that? And I was like, wow, I feel like I should have been the one to put 2 and 2 together that forcing yourself to move on was never going to fucking hit. I was mad at myself. I was like, wow, you really got duped just then, Miss CEO of Lover Girls Worldwide. You got duped into thinking that you had to force yourself to move on. And I just sat there and I was like, damn, you're right. I don't need to force myself to move on. I don't have to feel any different. I can sit in how I'm feeling right now, and I can sit in this feeling for as long as it fucking takes to sit in this feeling. I'm in no rush to get out of this feeling. Because the thing is that, like, it's a beautiful thing to care, to have a little crush, And it's hard to totally shut off all of, like, the what ifs and the ideas of what could have been, and just, I don't know. Where do you put all the love once it's gone? It's like I don't know, the grief that comes with endings. It is hard. And to expect ourselves to move on quickly, or there's like some set timeline for completely moving on, or, like you said, you feel like you're pretty much over it, but you miss those feelings and can't stop thinking about what ifs. Like, there's such a range to how things will stay with us. And it's fine if they stay with us. And this is what I'm learning to accept now. I can move on in the sense that I'm looking forward and I am not dwelling on the past, but that doesn't mean that I'm never going to think about it, or I'm never going to be sad, or that I'm just going to be like back to how I was before I met this person that was so important to me. Like, yeah, I am changed because of this. And that's a beautiful thing. And I don't need to be rushing myself to get to the next phase of where I'm going to be at, or rushing to, I don't know. I don't want to force myself to move on. I don't want to force myself to suffocate my feelings. That's not what I want to do. But I get that it's like that's what feels like the more acceptable thing, or the more comfortable thing, to be like, well, I've moved on now and I have to move on today. And there's a deadline with which I have to be moved on by. But there's not. I think it's acceptable to feel your feelings forever. And let me be so clear about what I'm saying here before any of you text my ex-ass bitches misuse my words. I am not saying you don't have to move on in the sense of like, yeah, let's just continue hitting up our ex every time we're drunk and like stay fully fucking entertaining something that we need to move forward from. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying that we should have our feet planted firmly in the present, looking towards the future, focusing on ourselves, trying to let ourselves process in whatever way we have to, letting ourselves get sad when we're sad, angry when we're angry, feeling everything, allowing the like longing for the good times to still exist. The thing is that we don't need to suffocate any of what we feel. We don't have to force ourselves to move on if that's not where we're at. So if right now you feel like, you know, you're pretty much over it, you're not like dwelling on it necessarily, but you still have like a missing and a longing for it in your chest, I don't think you have to remove it. I think it's okay to just acknowledge that it's there and be like, oh, that's how I feel right now. And there's no rush for you to get rid of that feeling or change that feeling. It's just here. It's completely neutral. It's not good or bad. It just is. And it's so funny because these are like beliefs I hold within myself and my emotions that I talk about all the time in other contexts. But for some reason, within the context of like moving on, I wasn't treating myself with the same kind of like, I don't know, emotional acceptance that I would with other things. Like in the like aftermath of something ending, I felt like a pressure to be like, okay, and be over it now and be done and move on. And I don't know, get to the next phase of this and go quickly. And I don't know, I felt like it was like I was on a race to like get rid of something that felt and continues to feel so like hugely important to me, you know? And it was funny when my therapist pointed it out to me and was like, well, you actually don't have to change anything about how you're feeling. And it's fine that you feel the way you feel, and you don't have to force yourself to feel differently. I was like, oh, and you're so right for that, queen. Oh, and you're literally so fucking right for that. But yeah, nobody twist my words into that meaning, into taking what I just said and taking that to mean it's okay to text your ex. It's not. Okay? Let's not confuse what I've said. All right? So to those of you that would have heard what I said and taken that as an opportunity to text your ex, that's for sure not what I said. Listen again. Hey, Maddie, your show truly gives me life. I was recently... Why did I say that so weird? I'm like, hi, Circle. Circle send. I'm like, Circle send, your show truly gives me life. Talking like a fucking AI. Okay, anyways. I was recently talking to a guy from a dating app, and he was... Oh my God, wait, I'm distracting myself as I'm talking. I was just in my head like, what, are there more episodes of The Circle that I haven't watched yet? They come out tonight at midnight. I'm recording this on Tuesday. I am all caught up on The Circle. Deeply invested. I do love The Circle. I know that it's like the same thing every time now, but I'm fascinated. Actually, I would like to do a deep dive on how throughout each season of The Circle, contestants have gotten way meaner, and that now part of like being a contestant on The Circle and like winning at the show, people like seem to believe they have to be like bullies, which is crazy. And I feel like season 1, everyone was like bestianas, and it was so fun and sweet, and it was just like a whole new kind of reality show, which is why I loved it. And it's like over time, I feel like The Circle is sort of morphing into the same pettiness that's on every other reality show, which is interesting, and I'd like to talk about that. But anyways, getting back to the fucking submission here. I was recently talking to a guy from a dating app, and he was really trying to make things sexual, which is fine, but after he asked for a full body photo, he made it clear immediately that he was not into it and was no longer interested in me. The fact that he lost interest so quickly and stopped treating me like a human based purely on what I look like turned me off as well, and I usually don't let these things bother me. Not everyone is going to like me or be attracted to me, and plenty of people think I'm a fucking goddess. But I kept catching myself wondering what it is about the photo that was an immediate no, especially given the fact that I have a similar one on my profile that he had clearly seen. How do you deal with it when someone makes you feel bad about yourself, even though you know deep down there's no reason to feel that way? First of all, this guy's a fucking loser, and I know that you know that, but I just need to tell you in complete confirmation, this guy's a fucking loser. I do wonder, like, you guys matched on a dating app, so clearly he knows what you look like. Saw your photos, liked you, matched with you. You guys start talking, things turn sexual. You send another full body photo, and suddenly he's like, not interested anymore. I wonder if this is someone who gets off on doing things like that to women, on like negging and putting women down after like clearly opening the door up, knowing what you look like, and then having the opportunity to like slam the door in your face. It sounds fucked up, but there are people that do that. And the fact that you matched on a dating app, he has photos of you, and then he immediately stopped treating you like a person when like you're matching on a dating app. It's all appearance based. The fuck are we talking? Like, wow, how did we even start having this conversation if you weren't attracted to me? It's kind of the whole thing on a dating app. It's kind of all we have. We kind of don't know anything else other than what we fucking look like and whatever we answered the prompt to. Like, to be so rude and like so just, I don't know, quick to stop treating you like a human being. It's so rude and like inhuman to me that I wonder if they have like some twisted, fucked up, I don't know, way of behaving with women in general, and this is like their thing. I don't know. That's my conspiracy theory with all of it. Because it just seems bizarre to behave that way, but I guess stranger things have happened. Here's the thing though, and this is what I feel like you should latch onto and remember here, is that it had nothing to do with your photo. It had nothing to do with what you looked like. There wasn't anything that was on your photo that was so much of an immediate no that made them say that. You shouldn't be looking at yourself and being critical. Or like, what was it that made them treat me that way? What was it that made them have that kind of reaction to me? It has nothing to do with you. Because here's the thing. Sane, well-adjusted people do not treat others like that. It's not a normal thing to flirt with someone, to engage in like a sexual conversation with someone, and then all of a sudden do a 180 and be like, actually, you're fucking ugly. That's weird. That's really weird to behave like that and treat other people like that. It had nothing to do with you, and I can guarantee you that from the bottom of my heart. So how do you deal with it when someone makes you feel bad about yourself, even though you know deep down there's no reason to feel that way? Number one, I try to lay the facts out for me, okay? Let's not pretend like this is some like real catch of a person who was just like so repulsed by you and you're like, oh my God, what did I do? You don't have to take the blame for their shitty actions. They shouldn't have treated you that way. It was rude. It's on a dating app. It's a completely voluntary interaction. If you're not attracted to someone, don't swipe right. Like, there's no reason to be an asshole to someone for no fucking reason. It's just ridiculous. It's so easily avoidable, and most of us don't have an issue with this. So when people do have an issue with this, like, that says way more about them than it ever will about you. And number two, looping back to, I guess, what I just talked about before this, is I let myself feel bad. If someone hurts my feelings, I let myself feel upset about it. Even if I can rationalize it and know better and know that this isn't an opinion that I value or something that I should really take to heart, if it hurt my feelings, I'm allowed to be upset about it. It's rude. When people treat you like that, it is rude. Shouldn't have happened. You're allowed to be sad about it. I don't think you have to feel bad about feeling bad. Hey Maddie, I love your YouTube channel and outlook on love and life. It has inspired me so much to embrace the fact that I am also a lover girl, even though right now I wish that I wasn't. I recently broke up with my first boyfriend of nearly 2.5 years, and it's been really hard because he has ghosted me. We were long distance and broke up just before he left to go back to school, and I thought we left things on a good note, saying that we still loved each other but just wanted different things. In the first week after he left, we were still talking normally, calling each other pet names and talking about our lives, but he started to space out the replies a lot. I was confused because he was the one who said he wanted to keep talking. A few days ago, he sent me a message saying he'd like to call, and I responded a day and a half later thinking it over and said yes. It's now been 5 days, and he hasn't even opened the message. I still love him, but I hate that he is going no contact without telling me. Any advice on how to deal with heartbreak and being ghosted? I don't think you're being ghosted. I think that, here's the thing. When you break up with someone, when you initiate a breakup, we can't control how the other person is going to process that breakup. So maybe for you, you can break up with them and be immediately friends and still in frequent content and calling each other pet names. But a lot of people would not be able to do that, myself included. To me, there's no universe where you can break up with someone and not go no contact for like the immediate aftermath of it. That's my take on breakups. I think that every time you break up, you need to go no contact for a little bit. I think that trying to be friends immediately after a breakup is just a recipe for a disaster. I think you can be friends after a breakup, but I think time has to pass and you need like space for healing first. I think that breaking up and then still deciding to be like, oh, we're still going to be friends and we're going to talk normally and call each other pet names and update about all our lives. Like there's no transition space there to like reestablish what you are to each other or like your boundaries in each other's lives. So to be honest with you, it sounds to me like perhaps your ex initially said yes to remaining in contact because they care about you and because that is maybe what their heart wanted, because it's easier to like stay in a little bit of contact and have a little bit of you rather than going to like full out having none of you. But maybe they quickly discovered that that's hard. It's hard to have 1 foot in and 1 foot out with someone that just broke up with you, to be totally honest with you. I wouldn't be able to do this. I would need space. And it sounds like maybe they, instead of being able to put words to that, are just sort of going quiet for now. So I wouldn't call it ghosting. I think they are reacting to the fact that you broke up with them. And you guys probably shouldn't be in constant contact. Because I don't know that is the optimal space for healing for both of you. So I wouldn't take it as ghosting. I would take it as just what happens after you break up with someone, which is what happened. You guys are broken up. So I would give it time, give him time to process how he's feeling. And I'm sure you guys will eventually have a conversation where you talk about this. But I would assume that it's probably not going to be the best thing to stay in such close contact now that you've broken up. I think you're going to need to take space from each other. And I would just assume that your ex is sort of coming to terms with what they need before having this conversation. So I wouldn't take it personally. I think this is just sort of what happens after you break up with someone. They have to process how they're feeling and figure out what they need. So I would just give them space to do that, as hard as that may be. But I think they will appreciate that as well. All right, I have to go do my laundry and go grocery shopping. The sun is going down, so I need to Zoom and do that right now, okay? So many tasks to be done. You people that have partners in life that split tasks with you, you don't know how good you have it, okay? I'm a one-woman show over here doing fucking everything. I miss when my parents like drove me around. I was talking to my friends about this last night. I was like, there's so many tasks always. And it's always like I'm in charge of every level of the task, every part of the task, all of the tasks, transporting myself to each task. Like I at least would like a chauffeur. So a parent with a vehicle. Oh, God damn it. It's so hard to do everything. It would be so fucking awesome. It would be so deeply fucking awesome if I could come home, even right now, as I'm recording this, if I had a partner that was cooking dinner in the kitchen while I finished doing the episode. Hugely awesome to not have to do every fucking task. They can cook dinner while I go do our laundry and pick up some more groceries, or they go pick up groceries while I do laundry and then we cook together, or they cook and I clean. Which split deviation of all the tasks, okay? No, instead, Maddie has to do all of them. Shop, laundry, cook, clean, work, sleep, everything. No splitting up of tasks. Only me. Boo! Okay. Well, one of these days, I will have someone to come home to post challengers, and I will also have someone to split my tasks with. But for now, we leave. For now, we move. We girl boss our way to infinity and beyond. Godspeed, and I will see you in next week's episode.